Hello everyone, it is John, and today's video I'm looking at my Call of Cthulhu and how I go about looking at, well, it's probably more a look at what I put together, or what do I look at when I'm putting together an adventure. So I'm looking at my background material. What is it that I go to try and put together what I'm running? So let's go have a look at the rest of my material. Well, hello everyone. I thought I would share with you, I guess, some of the thought processes that go into my mind when I'm looking at running or putting together material for Call of Cthulhu. Now, these days I look at running Call of Cthulhu here in Australia, which is where I currently am. And of course, the book, which is, yes, it's an adequate book. Can't say that it's brilliant, but it gives you some information that you can run with. And from that, it gives you the basis from which to draw on. I still use the original edition of Call of Cthulhu. I know there's many of others. I think 3rd edition is probably the better, or the best, if that's what we'd like to call it. I'm not too sure. Now, I do have another book that's floating around somewhere that's decided to go hide itself, which is part of my reasoning of... there it is. Ha 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 ha. Yes, I knew I had to have it somewhere. Right, no, that's fine. Well, look, as you can see, this is what I use for my inspiration. And I guess I'll just go through and give you a little information as to why. Now, these are written by Kerry Greenwood, and there is actually a television series starring, what's her name? Can't remember her name now. She's well known. Look, I'm dreadful at remembering actresses. Look, yes, she's marvellous. She's been in a lot of movies and that, but as you can see, there is a TV series and there was a movie. And these are based, these are an Australian-based 1920s style female detective, and they are, look, honestly, they are brilliant. She's just finally released this last one down the bottom, which is Death in Dalesford, which is her latest one, I believe. And that I've got to get around to getting books 1 and 2 in this format, because I do like that style of art. It's really nice. I quite like it. So look, I really do like them. They are good, and certainly if you're basing anything in Australia, it's a good grounder, because it gives you, I guess, a fair amount of an idea of what certainly Melbourne, Victoria would have been like. I think some of the adventures did come to Sydney. I don't know. I don't think she ever came to Brisbane, but certainly Sydney. And I know she did go to New Zealand for one adventure. Although I can't remember if she actually went on shore, but it was certainly on a boat anyway to Sydney, to New Zealand. So look, I highly recommend the Phryne Fisher. Actually, they've done a 60s version, although when I look at it, all I can see is the 1970s. Don't ask me why. But yeah, no, the TV series is excellent. Then I have another series, to get my finger out of the way. Well, they're not series, but this chap, Andrew Garvey, just gives you the nice feel for detectives. You'll find that just about all of these are detective series. And then if you're looking for a bit of perfidity, Sax Roma, which gives you Fu Manchu. Yes. So, again, inspiration comes from many sources for me. And of course, Agatha Christie has always been the best. Now, I guess it does fall outside of the 1920s, but it does give you, I think, some of the early, one of the earlier ones for Christie, I think, actually had Hastings and Poirot at, I think, who was it? Who was it for? Was it Death of Roger Ackroyd? No. Look, honestly, it's been a while since I have listened to them, but I have actually have all of the Hercule Poirot novels except for Black Coffee. Black Coffee apparently is really difficult to get hold of, which, as the perfectionist, annoys me. And then I do actually have all of Miss Marple. So I actually have all of her books, which or novels. Then I really do like. I have a love for these female detective writers, which they call from the Golden Age, and another one of them is Georgette Hayher. I think that's how they pronounce it, and she has a detective Inspector Hannyside, I think it is. No, am I thinking of another series? But no, look, I think she's better known for her romance, but these are really good. So there's that. Sapper Drummer, Bulldog Drummond. Again, another one for inspiration for the time. Then I've got, look, these are written by a New Zealander, now Marsh. Again, detective. Because I tend to set most of my Call of Cthulhu in a detective style adventure series. Or, you're out there to solve things. And these are just brilliant. The other one I like, of course, is Dorothy L. Sayers. She has a delightful character called Lord Peter Whimsy. And he is a delightful character. You can actually get his books as radio plays through Audible. I do suggest that you do get them. They are marvellous. So there are those. Then I do love Rex Stout and Nero Wolfe, of which there was a television series done, and it had Timothy Hutton as Archie Goodwin and Maury Chaykin as Nero, and they were brilliant. Certainly Timothy Hutton as Archie, I thought, played a really, really good role. I thought it was good. There are also radio plays for the time period for good old Nero Wolfe, and I can't remember the name of the main person who played Wolfe, but he was magnificent. Archie Goodwin, I think, had a number of people play his role, which was not disappointing, but certainly different anyway. But at least Wolfe did. I'll remember it eventually. But yes, and of course, hunting around looking for others, there was Francis Illies, and then there was Marjorie Allingham. So there was that. Then, of course, you must have Lovecraft. So I do have all of Lovecraft stuff. Then there's some Clark Ashton Smith, if you're looking for something a little different. And then there's some works by Auguste Derleth and Lynn Carter that look at the Cthulhu. So yes, and then we've got, I guess, a little bit of modernish stuff here. Robert Bloch. I think they were introduced anyway. So Blood-Curdling Tales of the Macabre. So I think these are more modern. I think Cthulhu 2000. I think these are ones I picked up when we used to have Borders books here in at Garden City here. But yeah, so, and of course I do tend to find that Tarzan's always a good setting too when you're looking for, I guess, for something, oddities and stuff like that. A wonderful thing that, yes, they think, why the heck have you got this? I picked this up years ago. Must be well over 20 years ago. This encyclopedia of spells, because it's just something that's really odd to have, where when you're just looking for something that's really, really different, and you just want to include something with, I guess, just, you're looking for ingredients or anything else that's just really different. I just found that this was a rather handy little book for, a little bit of realism. Well, why don't I do that? And who else but me would have a copy of the Malleus Maleficarum in their library? That sits next to my book of spells. How's that? Then, of course, fairies. Well, the wee folk came with us when we left Ireland and Europe and the continent, and they came with us, the wee folk, as just about every European that's here in Australia will tell you. We got tales. This is a good book, Parlour Games. I just find that there's lots of little bits and pieces that I can pinch out of there for that. Shots, sporting, gaming, and idling miscellany. That's, I just found that was another. When you're looking for particular little games that you're wanting to include, was really good. Birds of Australia, rather useful. Look, honestly, this old Indiana Jones book was just, I think it was a $5 book I think I found in one of the bookstores. I think QBD or somebody was having a sale. And, when you're just looking for inspiration for how you want to kit your stuff out, it was just brilliant. Then Aboriginal fables and myths and legends. It just gives you... I've actually liked this little one better. It was just gives you a short story in relation to the myths. I found that easier to understand than this one here, but I think this was written more for children, which is probably why I understand it better. This is always useful. British Orders, Decoration Medals. That was excellent. And then there was a dictionary of Australian colloquialisms. So it's useful if you're looking at trying to add, I guess, a bit of authenticity, etc. in there. So look, there you go. See, this is where inspiration comes from. Have I read everything here? Certainly all the Agatha Christie, certainly the Phryne Fisher, whether or not I can recall it all. The H.P. Lovecraft, I'm pretty sure. The Rex Stout, definitely. The Now Marsh, some of it. Dorothy Sayers, pretty much. Andrew Garvey, I think I might have read one or two of them. But, it's... books are your best friends. You never get rid of them. And at least I never run out of electricity with a book. So look, there you go. That's what I do when I'm putting together a Call of Cthulhu adventure. So thank you very much for your time. Till next time, signing off, the Honourable John.